On today's episode of the Film Breakdown Show, I've been watching a lot of film of the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's funny. When you watch this defense, I think they're pretty good against the run. I think in the secondary, there's lots of windows to exploit in the passing game. However, to get the ball out, you've got to take care of Mad Maxx. And I think there's some things that the team can do schematically to slow him down. I think there's some stuff that the players can do to slow him down from a technical standpoint, because we got to keep him off that Fury Road. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to the Film Breakdown Show. I'm Logan Paulson, and we are in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio, and we are breaking down the Las Vegas Raiders today, and there's a lot of good stuff. Let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders offense here. And so this does feel to me a little bit collegey, and what I mean by that is there's a motion to start us off here, but see how spaced out we are here? The spacing, very stagnant, kind of very traditional, nothing too complicated, not a lot of bunches. And I know on like PFF and stuff, they say, oh, they get in a lot of bunches, but to me, the bunches are wide and they declare very quickly. But this is something that they like to do. It's like an RPO kind of play action type of look here. So what we're doing here is we're gonna run a counter, and the back's gonna hit it from the offset gun position here, right? Watch the quarterback here. We're gonna fake the handoff. His eyes are going in this direction here. Boom. Looking at this player here. I'm not sure if this is a true RPO or if this is play action pass. I think they both work. I think when you look at the offensive lineman here, number 58, this is the difference between an RPO and a play action pass. If you look at the offensive line, watch this combination here and watch how he's getting downfield. If it's a play action, he's got to stay in the pocket because it's a longer developing concept. He's getting downfield. He's blocking this like it's a run, right? So this is an RPO. And so RPO means run pass. I am going to read this gentleman right here, this hook player. If he comes down to fit the run, I can throw the football. If he stays there, I'm handing it off. And I pointed this play out because Green Bay ran a version of this and put our guy, Mike Sanders, still our nickel, in some conflict here. So watch him. He's going to say this. He sees it open up. He has to fit this run. He's got to get in here and fit this. Watch this route as it comes in behind him here. See the natural space that's created by an RPO? This is a really good example of a well-executed, clean RPO. Obviously, they don't get this done. Got to catch that football. Maybe a little wet. Who knows? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I really like this play design and great execution. And this guy, Geno Smith, has absolute mustard on the football. Watch this thing come out. Zoop. That thing is a fastball heater. So this is some stuff that we just got to keep an eye on if we're the Washington Commanders. RPO, what's our plan? The one thing I liked with these guys right here is they kind of take a slow read step before triggering down. So you force the handoff and then rally to the ball. You kind of give the quarterback a muddy read. Sometimes you think about it in a zone read perspective where the defensive end's kind of gliding. It's the same type of thing here. Don't step up, keep some depth, rally to the run late, but this is something we got to negotiate with. First play of the game against the Chargers, RPO. First play of this game, also an RPO. It's definitely a thing they want to do, and I think that's one of the reasons they get in these kind of wider splits. They kind of space the front out a little bit. This feels very collegey to me in terms of spacing. Big part of it is because of the RPO stuff. All right, now let's talk about a little Ashton Jeanty, okay, running backs. And this is the reason everyone talks about young running backs. Why is he not starting? What's going on with that? Let's talk a little protection here, right? So we're going to do protection 101. Okay, so first off, this is a six-man pro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we got to make sure we can block 6 guys. This is a 6-man pressure, right? So the back should be used in this pressure. Let's talk about the 6 guys that are rushing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is easy for me with the clicker in my hand, but Ashton Jeanty, who's right here, is to the man side of the protection. He's to the man side. So these guys are going to block base, man. The slide is going to work this direction. Slide, okay? So if you're to the slide, the protection is targeted. These 3 have the most dangerous 3. So I'm going to assume it's these 3 guys right here. This is a tough look because there are 4 guys coming. So Ashton Jeanty does what he's supposed to do. He peeps his responsibility, which is this linebacker right here, and then he says, I am out. However, if you get 4 weak in a pass protection, the back is not out. He has to go probably wrap and pick this up right here. So if you check this out, watch, the offensive line does a good job. They do an excellent job, actually. We're going to pass this off. Boom, boom. I'm going to set here. This is the free runner right there, right? Free runner. The back's eyes need to stay over there, and you get this picked up. So this is where I'd say having a young back can make this really, really challenging. So if I'm Joe Witt Jr., I see stuff like this. I see stuff like that we saw versus the LA Chargers, and I say, we can exploit his eyes. We can exploit his discipline here, and I'm definitely going to run this pressure on the first third down if Ashton Genty's in the game, because I want to know if he's got this worked out and picked up, right? So great job right there getting that worked out. Okay, so now let's go on to our, like, kind of their coverage or their route runners. Let's talk about them real quick. So they've got a lot of gas. This guy right here, Thornton, fast. This guy right here, very fast. Both guys sub 4.3. But what I want to point out here is two things. One, not overly nuanced route runners, right? So even though I'm fast, if I play with good technique defensively, I can match this, right? I can match this. Great job. The other thing that I like about this is watch our guy Brock Bowers here. He's this guy right there. Boom. Brock Bowers. They chose to bracket him with this player and this player. Bracket your best player, take him away. That's something New England's done for a long, long time, right? So take him away, 2 for 1. And then we trust that we can cover the rest of the guys. So this is just to get a feel, right? The guy with maybe the most route running nuance is number 16. He does a great job here, kind of with a little stair step. You see his suddenness. You see his ability to create some space. But look at these other two guys, man. We're in pretty good phase here in terms of locking this up from a coverage standpoint. So can they run? Absolutely yes. Are they the most nuanced route runners? Probably not. Now, let's get to part 2 of this, which is the rush. This is the same play, but from the end zone angle, and talk about just fun line stunts and, again, protection rules, right? Because ultimately, like, you can cover those fast guys when the protection gets home really quick. So let's take a look. All right, center's going to slide left. Okay, let's talk about that. And we know it's slide left because the center's coming this way. Slide left, slide left, slide left. It's a 3-man slide. 1, 2, 3, right? 3-man slide. Love it. But the New England Patriots, they're going to bring a line stunt. They're going to go here, they're going to go here, and they're going to loop this guy back around. So when you're coaching your high school football team, remember, if it's a 3-man slide, this guy, the center, is the end of the slide. So if something comes across his face, something works back across his face, he's got to go with it, right? So he's got to go with it, pass it off to the guard. The guard does a great job here. This is a good football player. Passes it off to the guard. He picks it up. Now it's a 3-man game. So what is it? 1, 2, 3 all the way back around. So really they're trying to isolate this backside guard here. Check this out. This backside guard, number 66, he's the last man in the slide. Can the center push back to help him out? No, it's a little bit late. Guards, you always got to stick on the penetrator. Stick on the penetrator. Great job by him. And unfortunately for the Las Vegas Raiders, we get a free runner to the quarterback off of a 5-man rush. So I really like this. This is a great pressure. This is a great game. This is one that the Commanders run. But you see how effective it is in terms of breaking protection rules. They set the 3 bigs to this side. 1, 2, 3. We kind of force the slide this way. 1, 2, 3. Now we know that the game's going to be a little bit more effective just because of our setup in terms of how we're running this, right? So boom, we get the stunt. Great job. Great execution by those guys penetrating. 14 loops around. We get a free runner. So everybody's covered up in the back end. But if we wait a little bit longer, this guy might come open. But this is what I think a good rush does. Good rush plan, good rush philosophy in terms of helping the coverage. Now, let's get on to the defensive side of the football here. So they run cover 2, they run man, they run a little bit all out, right? But I just want to show you guys something here. Tampa 2 is kind of, you're going to get the safety to push here to a half. He's going to push to a half. He's going to push down the middle. So last week when we watched Green Bay film, it was very tight. There was not a lot of air. There was nothing like this. Nothing like that type of coverage. Nothing like this where guys are off, right? Nothing like this. It was much more condensed. They trusted their rush much more definitively, right? So you look at this and you say, wow, that's a lot of grass. Now that's the hole in Tampa 2, right? You're going to get this guy over the top. The Mike's going to carry. This guy's got to sit down. We're attacking the space of the coverage. But I think even if they're going to play this like this, if we're going to put the back out, right? We're going to put the back out here. This player has to match the back. Watch him match the back. If they're going to do it like this, what if we ran like some type of crossing route, which we've done, cross and then a high cross? This is going to be wide open, right? Just because of how they distribute the coverage. There's a lot of space. This is a new defensive coordinator. They're figuring their coverage out. And again, they're like 31st in the NFL over the first 2 games in terms of defensive efficiency. They're very high against the run. They're struggling against the pass. And I think when you watch the film, you see some of why that is. They're still kind of learning when they can be aggressive, when they should be passive, and when they should rally and tackle. So I just wanted to point that out. I think that's a really good way of looking at that. All right, let's get to their match coverage here real quick. So match is kind of their man coverage. And so some of the same principles or some of the same issues they're having in their cover two, they're also having in their match or their man coverage. So match is kind of like there's like a zone and a man element together, right? So you can see there's some guys that look like they're zone players the way he's dropping out here. He feels like a zone player. This guy feels like a man player. This guy feels like he might be a man player, right? So it just kind of depends on how the routes distribute, right? So if this is true match and not man, I would say this guy is being way too aggressive to the back, right? Chill. Keep your feet in concrete. We don't need to move from that spot, because if we move from that spot, we open this gigantic throwing lane for the quarterback here. And again, like this is something like they say, like don't be in a hurry to take the flat. This is exactly why. If he's a little bit more patient, I help out this guy right here, and I give us an opportunity to take away this throw. Instead, we get a nice first down completion. But look at the difference. Think about back to Green Bay. You can even go watch that old breakdown, right? They were so condensed. They were so tight. They were so aggressive to some of this stuff. Here, much less so. You can tell they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to work through their rules a little bit. And there is a lot of air. I mean, look at this. That is a very open player at the second level of this defense. So if you can protect it, I think you're going to be in a good spot. So now, because I said because if we can protect it, we're in a good spot, let's look at the protection. Our guy, Maxx Crosby, everyone's talking about him, and everyone should be talking about him because he's a very good football player. But let's talk about some things you can do to disrupt him and then things that he does well. So first off, this is a sneaky trick to maximize your offensive tackle. And Logan say why. So when I win as an offensive lineman, I know that this player's lined up a little bit tighter. I can be more aggressive with my pass set because I'm trusting that the tight end's body presence is going to force him directly to me. So this is a great job by Morgan Moses. Look at the line the rusher takes. It's here, right? It's not up the field because the tight end's in the way. I'm going to run straight. Great job with the long arm by Morgan Moses here. Sit this down, and then now I'm just in a good spot, right? You've tipped the deck in the tackle's favor just by formation. This isn't a chip help. This isn't a max pro. This is nothing. This is just saying, hey, we're going to put the tight end in a position where the defensive end cannot line up super wide. He can't line up out in this position here, right? So easy, very low cost. We're getting guys out in the route, but easy way to minimize the effectiveness of a pass rusher, right? Great job by Morgan Moses using his length there. Awesome job. Now, there's more comprehensive ways to do it too, right? So here we go. It's the same look. A little later in the game. Watch how he's wide. Look at Maxx Crosby. See how he's widened out now? He's wider. So now this becomes a little bit more challenging, but good job by the offensive coordinator. We're going to call it protection where the tight ends got him in pro. The tackle now can help the tight end, so the tight end's not one-on-one. This is really smart stuff. So we got a four-man slide away. Great job by the guard. So this is going to be four-man here. Bam, bam, bam. You're pretty much treating this like your normal five-down protection rules, but we've added the tight end as a pass protector to help specifically on Maxx Crosby. This is a really nice solution to this problem here. Boom. We lock it in, help him out, get the ball out. Great job down the field. Got to complete that football, right? Got to complete the football. It's really important. That's an important part of winning football games, right, Jason, is completing the football. Okay, so this is now, that's ways to mitigate, to slow him down, to manage him, right? And you can tell this was a big part of the game plan because our guy, the tight end here, is lined up always to this side. They're trying to mess with the angle of the rusher. So we're going to put him there. This is his move, though. This is what he wants to do. Kind of take first off, for all those young pass rushers out there, we're not running straight up the field. We're attacking the intersection point. Watch him attack the intersection point. And then this is his move. Double wiper. I'm taking my inside hand. I'm wiping the tackle's outside hand. I'm bringing the outside hand, my outside hand as the rusher, to secure that. And then I'm going to rip and finish through that ball, right? Rip and finish through that ball. This is his fastball. This is what he wants to do. Now, he's done a bunch of different stuff over the course of his career. He's very nuanced in terms of his pass rush plan. But this, to me, especially in this game against the New England Patriots, was the pitch he wanted to throw. So can we, as a tackle, why is that important to know? I can now set to this rush. I can now set knowing this is the move. I can hold my hands a little bit longer, wait for him to initiate the wiper, and then I throw my strike, right? So that's one thing. So you can do some technical things. You can do line up the tight end. You can put the tight end in Maxx Pro. And now as the tackle, what can I do? I can study the rush plan and come up with a solution in terms of how I want to punch and how I want to strike the rusher. Now, if he cannot get the wiper, if you set well, which I think Morgan Moses does a pretty good job of here, setting well, see this angle? He feels like he can't get the wiper. He's going to go to a long arm. Watch his right hand go right down the middle. Now, if I know that's his solution, I can sit that and wait for the transition. So I guess what I'm saying is Maxx Crosby is an excellent football player, but there are some technical things you can do, formation, protection plan, and there are also some things that the individual can do to know and maximize what's best in terms of stopping Maxx Crosby. So it's going to take a team effort, coaches, players, but I think after looking at this, I say, man, if I'm the offensive line coach, I'm saying we're really setting to stop the double wipe, expect bull rush if he doesn't get the wiper angle, and be ready to sit it. And so that's my solution for stopping Maxx Crosby, because as we just talked about, there's holes in the secondary if you can pass protect, and really the number one driver of their pressure right now is Mad Max number 98. So if we can take care of him, they're going to be a good spot. But that's going to do it for the Film Breakdown Show. Tune in next week for more film.
This show was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for our rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.